Hello, good morning everyone. Hi, this is Abhishek Ranjan sir. Welcome to our educational channel First Topper. Really very much excited to learn with you, to connect with you, my dear students. नमस्कार, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे इस लाइव वीडियो सेशन में. मैं अभिषेक रंजन फ्रॉम फर्स्ट टॉपर, अ डिजिटल वे ऑफ इनोवेटिव लर्निंग. ओके माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, आज के इस लाइव वीडियो सेशन में माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स हम लोग क्लास 10th इकोनॉमिक्स चैप्टर 2 सेक्टर्स ऑफ द इंडियन इकोनॉमी चैप्टर के 3 मार्क्स और 5 मार्क्स क्वेश्चंस, इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस, सैम्पल क्वेश्चंस, वीवीआई क्वेश्चंस, गेस्ट क्वेश्चंस को हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे, जो आपके एग्जाम के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, फ्रूटफुल होगा. ये सारे क्वेश्चंस का आप प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, रिवीजन करेंगे, आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ेगा और ये सारे क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स आपको इस वीडियो में दिए जाएंगे. प्रॉपर एक्सप्लेनेशंस के साथ ये क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस किए जाएंगे. माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, सो कनेक्टेड रहिए, जुड़े रहिए हमसे और हमारे चैनल को लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें, शेयर करें. इससे हमें और प्रेरणा मिलेगी और मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स के लिए हर दिन कुछ न्यू इनोवेटिव वीडियोस लेके आता रहूँगा. ओके माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, तो स्टार्ट करते हैं चैप्टर 2 सेक्टर्स ऑफ द इंडियन इकोनॉमी. ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नेचर ऑफ वर्क, economic activities can be classified into 3 sectors, that is the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. तो ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर है. देश की अर्थव्यवस्था और देश के नागरिक होने के नाते हमें अपने सेक्टर्स ऑफ इकोनॉमी के बारे में जानकारी होनी चाहिए. ओके माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, तो ये बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव वीडियो है आपके लिए एग्जाम्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. स्टार्ट करते हैं. स्टार्ट करने से पहले स्टूडेंट्स के लिए एक हमारा थॉट है. Teachers can open the door, but you must enter it yourself. Okay, my dear students, स्टार्ट करते हैं. हमारा पहला क्वेश्चन है सेक्टर्स ऑफ इंडियन इकोनॉमी का, और जो हमारा सिलेबस है वो मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहूँगा. सेक्टर्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज़ सिलेबस है पहला. दूसरा, कंपेयरिंग द 3 सेक्टर्स. तीसरा टॉपिक जो हमारा है वो है प्राइमरी सेक्टर, सेकेंडरी सेक्टर एंड टर्सरी सेक्टर्स इन इंडिया, डिवीजन ऑफ सेक्टर्स एज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड एंड unorganized, and last topic, sectors in terms of ownership, public and private sector. Okay my dear students, start करते हैं. पहला क्वेश्चन है हमारा, explain the meaning of tertiary sector, mention any 4 economic activities of this sector. Very important question. Explain the meaning of tertiary sector, mention any 4 economic activities of this sector. और जो करेक्ट आंसर है, एक्सप्लेनेशन है, वो मैं यहाँ से दे रहा हूँ आपको. आप ध्यान से सुनेंगे, समझेंगे. टर्शरी सेक्टर को सर्विस सेक्टर भी कहते हैं. टर्शरी सेक्टर्स, दीज आर द एक्टिविटीज़ दैट हेल्प इन द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी सेक्टर्स, एंड दीज एक्टिविटीज़ बाय देमसेल्व्स डू नॉट प्रोड्यूस अ गुड, बट दे आर एन एड और सपोर्ट फॉर द प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस. Next, 4 important economic activities of this sector are banking, transport, storage, communication. Okay my dear students, 3 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चंस हैं ये. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ये सारे आंसर्स जो मैं यहाँ से डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ, ये सारे आंसर्स पॉइंट वाइज हैं और आप भी अपने बोर्ड एग्जाम्स में एसएसटी में आंसर्स पॉइंट वाइज में ही देंगे, जिससे कि आपको मार्क्स अच्छे मिलेंगे. ओके माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाई इज द टर्शरी सेक्टर becoming so important? Why is the tertiary sector becoming more important in India? Explain by giving any 3 reasons. And the correct answer and explanation क्या है वो मैं भी डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ. पहला पॉइंट, इन एनी कंट्री, किसी भी देश की बात करेंगे, सेवरल बेसिक सर्विसेज लाइक ट्रांसपोर्ट, बैंक, इंश्योरेंस, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस etc. are required, and the government has to take responsibility for the provision of these services. Next point, the development of agriculture and industry led to the development of services such as transport, storage, trade etc. As income level rises, certain sections of people started demanding many services like eating out, tourism, private hospitals etc. Next, certain new services such as those based on information and communication technology have become important and essential. Next, greater the development of the primary and secondary sector, more would be the demand of such services. Okay my dear students, third question, तीसरा question, important, how is tertiary sector different from the other 2 sectors of the economic activities? Tertiary sector is different from other 2 sectors because it does not provide or produce goods. It provides services such as transport, communication, etc. It is the backbone of all the other sectors. More than the primary and secondary sectors develop, more is the requirement of services. Next question, important. Classify the economic activities on the basis of nature of activities. Mention the main feature of these, of each. Now, classification of economic activities on the basis of nature of activities is as follows. First, primary sector, इसको agriculture sector भी कहते हैं. Primary sector, when we produce goods by utilizing natural resources, it is an activity of the primary sector, such as agriculture, dairy farming, fishing, forestry. Next sector, that is secondary sector, इसको industrial sector भी कहते हैं. In this, natural products are changed into other forms through manufacturing that we associate with industrial activity. And the product is not produced by nature but has to be made, and therefore some process of manufacturing is essential. For example, using cotton fiber from the plant we spin yarn and weave cloth. Next sector, that is the tertiary sector. Tertiary sector is also called the service sector. It helps in the development of the primary and secondary sector. Primary और secondary के development में help करता है. They provide an aid or support for the production process, transport, storage, communication, banking, trade are some of the examples of tertiary activities. Next question. Explain any three reasons for the primary sector to be largest employer in India. Explain any three reasons for the primary sector to be the largest employer in India, and your answer, the correct explanation points are as follows. Primary sector continues to be the largest employer because enough jobs have not been created in the secondary and tertiary sector. In the tertiary sector, though the production has risen almost 11 times, but employment has grown only 3 times. Next important point, even though industrial output went up by 8 times during the period, employment in the industry sector went up by only 2.5 times. Next important question, classify the sectors of economy on the basis of ownership. Ownership के आधार पे sectors को कितने categories में बांटा गया है? On the basis of ownership, public sector and private sector. Public sector, the government owns most of the assets and provides all the services. Point 1. Point 2, the purpose of the public sector is not to earn profits. Government raises money through taxes to meet expenses on the service rendered by it. Next, railways and post office are the examples of the public sector. Next, private sector. Ownership of assets and delivery of services are in the hands of private individuals or companies. Activities in the private sector are guided by the motive to earn a profit. To obtain such services, we have to pay money to the individuals and companies. Tata Iron and Steel Company, TISCO or Reliance Industries are the examples of private sector. Come to the next question, my dear students. ये सारे questions आपके एग्जाम के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. ये सारे questions का रिवीजन करेंगे आप, और फर्स्ट टॉपर के वीडियोस को जो भी क्वेश्चंस यहाँ से डिस्कस किए गए हैं उसे आप सुनेंगे, समझेंगे, आपके लिए बहुत फ़ायदेमंद होगा. ओके माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स. नेक्स्ट, कम समय में आप कैसे बेहतर कर सकते हैं उसके लिए मैं यहाँ से शॉर्ट वीडियोस आपके लिए ला रहा हूँ एग्ज़ाम्स को ध्यान में रखते हुए, ताकि एग्जामिनेशन से पहले ये सारे वीडियोस को आप सुने, रिवीजन नोट सुने फर्स्ट टॉपर्स के जो भी हमारे 3 मार्क्स 5 मार्क्स ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस हैं वो सारे क्वेश्चंस को आप एक बार जरूर सुनेंगे एग्जाम से पहले. इससे आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ेगा और कम समय में आप पूरे चैप्टर को रिकॉल कर पाएंगे. ओके माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. थैंक्स फॉर गिविंग योर प्रीशियस टाइम टू मी. Explain the problem of underemployment in the service sector in urban areas with examples. In urban areas, there are thousands of casual workers in the service sector who search daily employment. For example, petty workers, painters, street vendors, rickshaw pullers, etc., who are underemployed because they do not have better work opportunities. Next question. How does service sector in India provide different kinds of services? Explain. Contribution of public sector to economic development. Now, in the public sector, the government owns most of the assets and provides all the services. The purpose of the public sector is not just to earn profits but also to provide facilities to the public in different ways, welfare of the people. There are several things needed by society such as a whole, some of these needs spending large sums of money, which is beyond the capacity of the private sector, so they are provided by public sector. The government supports, next point, the government supports and encourages industrial activities, providing affordable electricity in the same way to provide agricultural activities. Government purchases their products on MSP and provide a subsidy for the poor on these products. Next question. Describe the contribution of three sectors in Indian economy. All the three sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary of the economy are interdependent, interlinked, interconnected to each other. The various production activities in the three sectors produce a very large number of goods and services. The three sectors have a large number of people working in them to produce the goods and services. Next question. All of the service sector is not growing equally well in India. Justify the statement with three arguments. बोर्ड में पूछे जा चुके क्वेश्चन है. Service sector in India employs many different kinds of people. However, there are limited number of services that employ highly skilled and educated workers, such as managers, lawyers, accountants, etc. Also, there are very large number of workers engaged in services, such as small shopkeepers, repair persons, transport persons. These people barely manage to earn a living and yet perform these services. Next point. There is no alternative opportunity for them, only a part of this sector is growing in reality. Next question. Explain the interdependence of all the three economic activities, giving examples from transportation system. All the three sectors are highly interdependent on each other. When we use natural resources, it is an activity of the primary sector. In the transportation sector, iron is the main raw material, and the primary sector is concerned with the extraction of natural resources like iron. The extraction is supported by the financing and information and technological institutions. The natural resources are changed into other forms through the process of manufacturing. That is, manufacturing sector uses natural products as its raw materials. It is through the secondary sector that the natural resource, that is, iron, is changed into other forms through manufacturing. Manufacturing needs the support of the service sector in the form of engineers, electricians, etc. to change iron into iron sheets and then in vehicles. Next, all services that enable us to pursue primary and secondary activities are listed as tertiary activities. Once manufactured, the vehicles are sold in the markets by various agencies, and these vehicles help all the sectors to carry out their processes. Next question. How would income and employment increase if farmers are provided with loan, irrigation and transportation facilities? Important question. Loan provided can be used to construct a well or to buy a better quality of seeds and pesticides. Point 2. Irrigation will help to have a second crop after the first one, even in the absence of monsoon. Third point. Transportation facility will facilitate taking their produce to the market to sell. Next question. How is tertiary sector different from other sectors? Give examples. Tertiary sector is different from other sectors in the following ways. The activities of the tertiary sectors are different, as these are the activities that help in the development of the primary and secondary sectors. These activities by themselves do not produce any good, but they provide an aid or support for the production process. For example, goods that are produced in the primary or secondary sector would need to be transported by trucks or trains and then sold in the wholesale and retail shops. We also may need to talk to others over the telephone or send letters, communication, or borrow money from banking to enhance production and trade. Transport, storage, communication, banking, and trade are some examples of tertiary activities. Since these activities generate services rather than goods, the tertiary sector is also called the service sector. Okay, my dear students, come to the next question. Explain the ways by which more employment can be created in a country like India. Explain the ways by which more employment can be created in a country like India? And the answer, correct explanation, the ways by which more employment can be created in a country like India are as follows. If more dams are built and canal water is provided to all the small farmers, a lot of employment can be generated in the agricultural sector. Providing cheap credit facilities and crop insurance can result in more employment. More money should be spent on transport and storage because then more people can be employed. Next, the government banks can provide a loan at cheap rates to improve irrigational facilities. Next, technical training, vocational guidance to unemployed youth for self-employment. Come to the next question, important question. What is GDP? Gross Domestic Product. Explain with example the method of calculating the GDP, Gross Domestic Product. Important question. GDP is the sum of the money. GDP is the sum of the money value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year within domestic territory of a country. Only final goods and services are counted in the GDP. GDP में सिर्फ फाइनल गुड्स और सर्विसेज को ही काउंट किया जाता है बिकॉज द वैल्यू ऑफ द फाइनल गुड्स already includes the value of all intermediate goods. To count the value of the flour and wheat separately is therefore not correct because then we would be counting the value of same things a number of times. Why is Narega so called the right to work? Explain. Narega is also called the right to work. It has been implemented in 200 districts, in 200 poorest of the poorest districts of India. Narega guarantees 100 days of assured work to the people who are able and in need of work. If the government fails to provide work, it will provide unemployment allowances to the people. 1/3 of the jobs are reserved for women. Next question. State the objectives of Narega 2005. State the objectives of Narega 2005. Objectives of implementing Narega 2005 are as follows. This scheme targets the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and the poor women who suffer from poverty to give employment opportunities to the people who live in rural areas, to raise the standard of living of the people, to implement the right to work. Under this scheme, the Gram Panchayat, after proper verification, will register households and issue job cards to registered households, and the job card is the legal document that entitles a person to ask for work under the Act and to get work within 15 days of the demand for work, failing which an unemployment allowance would be payable. Okay, my dear students, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में चैप्टर 2 इकोनॉमिक सेक्टर्स ऑफ इंडियन इकोनॉमी के कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट रिमेनिंग 3 मार्क्स और 5 मार्क्स क्वेश्चंस के साथ। तब तक के लिए धन्यवाद। आपका सहयोग, आशीर्वाद, भरोसा बना रहे। मैं आपके विश्वास और भरोसा पे खड़ा उतरूँगा। थैंक यू माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, थैंक्स फॉर ज्वाइनिंग अस and thanks for giving your precious time. God bless you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye. Good night.